Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Turn Cycling YouTube channel. Now, 2020 has been a little bit of a strange year with all of the COVID stuff going on, but we have seen a return to ultra racing over the course of the last couple of months. It's been a bit of a compressed season, but next weekend I shall be off to Italy to take part in my last ultra race of the season, which is none other than the Two Volcanos Sprint. This is a really interesting course. It goes from Vesuvius up near Napoli in the middle of Italy, all the way down to Mount Etna on Sicily. Fantastic course, 1,000 kilometres, but that only really tells part of the story, because those 1,000 kilometres will be covering 24,000 metres of climbing. Yes, you heard that right, 24,000. Also going through some incredibly remote and quiet parts of Italy. So things like resupply are going to be a big challenge. I think finding places to sleep are going to be a big challenge. And if that wasn't enough, go and check out the rider roster, because this probably features pretty much anybody who's anybody in the world of ultra racing right now. We've got some amazing riders last year, from last year's TCR winner Fiona Kolbinger. We've got two-time TCR winner James Hayden. We've got Inca Divide and Italy Divide winner Sofiane Saheli. We got last year's winner Ulrich Bartholomews, and a whole host of other incredible riders who are going to be there. It's probably the most star-studded race that I will have done in my short ultra racing career. So I'm going to be looking forward to following this from the back and seeing what goes on. I'll be doing live video, whether it's on the YouTube channel or on Facebook. Check out both, because I'll probably be doing both, especially the Facebook Live, so that you can interact and ask me questions. But do hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Then you'll get updates when I post new content to the YouTube channel. If we can get to 1,000 subscribers before race day, then I'll be able to do all of the live footage on YouTube, which is where we want it to be eventually. Right, so today's video, I'm going to be going through the kit that I'm going to be taking. Now, I did one of these a couple of weeks ago, which was for the Great British Escapades North and South Downs. Now, that was a much shorter race, predominantly off-road. Very different set of conditions to what I'm expecting in Italy. So definitely you're going to see a very different setup here compared to what I was doing 3 weeks ago around the North and South Downs. So we're going to run through that, run through the equipment I'm taking, run through the setup of the bike, and yeah, show you what you need to be doing a race of this length and duration, and I think exposure to just being alone. So let's crack on with it. Right, I'm going to do things in the complete opposite order to last time. Last time I went through the bike and then went through everything, put it all in the bags and stuck it on the bike. As you can see, if I step aside, the bike already has all the equipment on it. So I'm going to pull things off the bike. We'll talk through the equipment, and then we'll just talk a little bit about the setup of the bike, because I am back on the moots this time, and the Fairlight has been set up for Laura so that she can ride whilst I am not here. Right, 2 bags this time. We're taking the tail fin, which has got most of the kind of through the day stuff in it, but also you can see here, somewhere here, there we go. I'm taking the small Apidura 9 litre bar bag. So we'll start with that, because that's full of most of the sleep system. I want to tackle this a little bit differently to how I've normally tackled longer races, in that on the longer races in the past I've tended to stay in hotels. I've not really slept wild or bivvied out, even though on shorter races I've raced through and I've just slept on a bench or on a lay-by or in a verge or something like that. However, with this one, given the remoteness, hotels are not going to always be where you want them to be, and we don't know whether hotels are going to be open. There's not been much tourism, so you don't know the situation. So I wanted to give myself the flexibility to be able to sleep anywhere, and also to be able to ride later into the night, and not take up so much time with checking into a hotel, having food there, you know, getting up and struggling to get out of a nice warm bed. So this year, or with this race, I'm going to be taking a full sleep system, which is mainly on here. So let's get into that first. I quite like the small 9-litre Apogera pack because I'm not tempted to overfill it, which is nice, and also it doesn't get in the way of the wheel at the bottom, given I'm quite small. I need a small frame, but also it doesn't expand out too wide and get in the way of the bars, so it's just generally it's a nice setup. So let's have a look what we've got in here for the sleep system. So yeah, what I wanted with this was just to be able to get a fairly comfortable sleep wherever I stopped. First off, silk sleeping bag liner. I don't want to get dirt and filth all over my nice down sleeping bag. So Big Agnes silk liner will do the trick and try and minimise the dirt getting everywhere. Now I'm also taking a pad. So this is the, again, Big Agnes AXL Air Mat. Packs up really small. This weighs about 200 grams, 250 grams. It's quite neat and very comfortable, and will help keep me warm. And then, not quite all of the sleep system, but the last main part of it in this bag, or the only part in this bag. Again, Big Agnes. This is a fairly new acquisition. This was based on looking at what some of the top riders did last year at the TCR in terms of taking a super light small sleeping bag. So again, Big Agnes, thank you to the guys and girls in Colorado. This is the Big Agnes Pluton UL 40, which I think means it's rated down to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which for most of us in the world, that's about 4 degrees Celsius or 3 degrees Celsius. It weighs like 400 grams, feels really nice, super lightweight. Still got a full length zip in case I get too hot. This will be the first time I've used this in anger, so I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a great bit of kit. If you can see that, there we go, back in the light. Right, so that's pretty much everything that fits into the bar bag. I could probably get the bivy bag in there as well, but again, if you overfill it, it just starts to get in the way of gears and things like that. So, right, that's the bar bag. Now let's get into the tail fin. And then whilst I'm getting in here, I'll point out a few things on the tail fin, which are kind of newly set up for this race. Now, I just love how quick the tail fin is to get on and off the bike. It really is amazing. You know, when you're checking into a hotel and they say, oh no, you can't put your bike up into your room, 20 seconds, it's off the bike. Now, I don't know if you can see that. We've got some double light action going on there. Main one is cat eye vertical. Both of these lights run on normal AA batteries or AAA batteries. I think they're both AAA batteries. So the big one, the big vertical one there is the cat eye, but this small one is a Bosch and Miller, I think, which has a built-in reflector, which you need to meet the requirements of the Geneva Convention for road traffic. Important for those of you who are doing TCR, you need a reflector. And I've done a really cool hack on that. I don't know if you can see that. Basically, I drilled a hole in it here, so I could bolt it to, originally to bolt to the pannier mounts on my Fairlight for the GB Escapades the other week. But now what I've used is I've just used a couple of kind of rubber M6 spacers, which has allowed me to mount it to the bottom of the bag. So that's, yeah, 2 lights, both on batteries. They'll probably last the whole race without needing to change the batteries, but you know, at least I've got some redundancy in there, which is all good. Right, final part of the sleep system. Bivy bag, I'm taking the MSR eBivy, super lightweight, 200 grams. That's really just to keep the wind off and keep a little bit of light rain off. If it's heavily raining, I'm either going to find somewhere to shelter or I'm going to be in a hotel. Probably in a hotel. Some of the standard stuff that I take, Gore Shake Dry, never go anywhere without that. It's always likely to rain, you never know, so Gore-Tex jacket, really important. The Turn Cycling reflective gilet. I don't know if you can see, well, you can see that in the light, you can see the yellowness. I don't know if you can see the sparkly bits as well, maybe. I don't know, can you see that in the lights? Anyway, yeah, super visible on the back and windproof on the front. It's got event fabric on the front. That will go on towards the end of every day and probably not come off until the next morning. Yeah, great bit of kit. Now, let's continue with waterproofness. So I've been trying these out since TCR last year, just waterproof running trousers. They were like 30 quid from Decathlon. I'm not convinced they're the best solution yet, but they're what I've got. So I'm taking those because it's a really hilly race. There's going to be a lot of kind of mountain descents and could be doing mountain descents in the dark at night, you know, when it's cold. If we get rain, it's definitely going to be cold. So more than anything, they're going to be able to keep me warm descending off the mountain. They are terrible to ride in, but you don't need to do that when you're going downhill. So yeah, that's those. Castelli Nanoflex arms and legs. Again, these just pretty much standard kit. Never really go anywhere without those. Yeah, put those on as soon as the sun goes down. You can stay warm. If you're having a wet day, then they do stay warm whilst they're wet. So again, always go in my bag, those. And then on to one of the extra bits of warm kit, or the other extra bit of warm kit. And I've realised there's a bit missing from in here, which I'll just talk about in a minute. This is a kind of insulated long sleeve jacket. I was debating, do I take a smaller insulated gilet? Do I take a down jacket? But this for me strikes the right balance of warmth and weight and space more than anything else. You know, a down jacket can be quite bulky, whereas this doesn't take up much space. I've used these a lot before, both this and the gilet version. And they just are really, it's not just that they're warm, because they are, and if you put, you know, put the Gore-Tex Shake Dry on top of this and you'd be really nice and toasty warm. But because they're not over, they're not covered in like waterproof material all over, so they're really, really breathable. So you can ride this through the night and you don't get too hot when you're riding along. So, you know, I use the gilet version of this. I used the gilet version of this in Corsica last year, and it was a lifesaver. Excellent bit of kit. Yeah, this, just gone with the extra, with the arms on this one, or gone with the long sleeve version. Again, I'm preparing for potentially cold weather. Even though the forecast is not too bad, you know, when you're 1,500 meters up in the mountains, the weather can change pretty quick. You can get local climates, local weather systems. You never know what's going to happen. And the last thing you want to do is get cold descending in the rain at 3 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, this should keep me nice and toasty. Now the bit that's missing from in here is I'm also taking an insulated, or not insulated. Now the bit that's missing from here, I'm also taking a thermal top, long sleeve thermal top. I've got Castelli kind of polypropylene, polyester thermal top. Again, just something to be able to put on, you know, whether it's when I'm bivvying down at night, something to give me an extra level of warmth, or if you're riding late into the night and it's just, you know, it's really cold, it just something to give me another layer in case of those cold temperatures. Right, that is all the clothing, nearly all the clothing. I forgot a new bit of kit. Exciting developments for 2020 ultra racing. These are, this is a set of the Velo toes. I don't know if you've heard of these. It's basically, the best way I can describe these is it's like a swim cap for your feet. So they're kind of like a thick latex rubber and they go over your feet. The good thing is they weigh nothing. They're like 100 grams and they pack up really, really small. And I think they're going to be super warm if I need to put them on. So kind of better than carting around big, heavy overshoes. So we'll see. This is an experiment. Because I had all kinds of issues last year on TCR. I took some and then I didn't take some and then I left them behind and then ended up buying some and I used plastic bags and it was just a disaster. So yeah, we'll see. We'll report back on those at the end. Right, next thing is to get into the electrics. So I'm planning to bivvy out. I might be going 2 days without seeing a charging point. I don't have a dynamo wheel. To be honest, I don't think you need a dynamo wheel, but I have been thinking about how much power do I need. Now, as with all my races, recently I'm going to be using the extra power bank for the Garmin and the extra power bank for the Exposure Diablo lighting. But in terms of keeping everything going over the course of 2 or 3 days, the battery power on the rear lights helps because literally don't need to worry about the rear lights. The lighting there on the front and the Garmin, I could probably get through 2 whole days. So it's really, you know, what happens after 2 days with those and charging the phone. So I'm taking my trusty Zendure. This is the A8 PD. 2 key things about this. One, 27,000 milliamp hours. So to be honest, I think I'll get through the whole race without needing to recharge this. I'll be surprised if I do. However, the second good thing about it is if I do need to recharge it, it recharges with USB-C PD, so power delivery, 45 watts. That whole thing will recharge in about 3.5 hours. So if I decide to do bivvy out first night, hotel second night, bivvy third night, I know that I can sleep for 3 hours and that will get pretty much fully topped up. The other good thing about it is, I don't know if you could see that, let's see, probably not. 5 charging ports, so and pass-through charging, so really is a top bit of kit. Yeah, the 5 charging ports will help. Not that I think I have 5 things to charge at once. We'll see. Di2 charger, just in case, for the sake of 50 grams. I'm not going to take the risk of running out of power. These are quite neat. I've probably talked about these before. Lazine caddy sacks, just stop things rattling around my bag. One is set up for electrics. So we have the new international charger. Note to self, remember to put the European plug on that one. It's a good job I did this, isn't it? Yeah, 45 watt charger, brilliant bit of kit. These just snap on. And you can snap a different plug type on. So I'll replace that for the European one. I just have to hope I didn't leave the European one in shipping back from Dubai. That would be a disaster. I better go and double check that. And then a set of cables. So I've got charging cable for the exposure light, and what I'll do is I'll take the adapter for the extra cell, so I can just take the cell off, stick it in my bag, not worry about cables off the front of the bike. USB-C to lightning cable for the iPhone, which means it can charge over power delivery, recharge the phone in like 2 hours. Super useful. If you're new to this, looking into how you charge things and how fast you can charge things is quite, for me, it's quite an important thing to do. If you just go with what's standard, you can take you 4 hours to charge your phone, 5 hours to charge your phone. But if you look at how to use USB-C PD across all your devices, you can charge things a lot faster. USB-C power cable to charge the battery pack. And then a USB-A to USB-A micro. That is for recharging the Garmin power bank. and for plugging into the Di2 charger. I don't think I've got anything else that needs. Right. I did pack my thermal. We're all good. Right, nearly at the end of this magical box of goodies, earplugs, just in case. That's probably more for beforehand, because I'm sharing a hotel room with my brother-in-law, and if he snores, I'm going to put those in. But always useful. If you have to sleep somewhere near a main road or somewhere where it's noisy, earplugs in, you're going to get a better night's sleep. Right, onto tools and repair kit, tubalitos. Again, I don't think they're the best long-term solution if you're riding tubes. However, as an emergency, get you out of trouble. If you're running tubeless, these cannot be beat, I don't think. I've just remembered to switch to the, throw them all over the place. I remembered to switch to the 700cc ones, sorry, the 700, I've just remembered to switch to the 700C ones, not the 650B ones from the other day. Because I've done that before. I've taken the wrong inner tubes on a race. Luckily, not needed them. Do I need to talk about the Bluetooth Silca Tatico? I don't think so. Best hand pump ever. I'm not even taking gas canisters. This thing rocks. Enough said. And then finally into the toolkit, and I think that's the last thing. It's just the earplugs in there, and then we're done on that. So in the toolbox, Lazine mini tool, really important, chain breaker, Allen keys, everything that I could possibly need. One tyre lever. I know that these come off fairly easily. I've been redoing the sealant and redoing the rim tape, and yeah, just one tyre lever is all you need. Tyre boots, if you don't need those, or if you don't have those, use a note. Tubolito patch kit, because you need special patches, obviously. Dynaplug. I've got some Stan's darts as well. Not taking those, they tend to be for bigger splits. We're on road, I don't expect big splits. So the Dynaplug is really, it's an excellent solution. Anything you can do to not have to put a tube in, keep the tubeless running, is a good thing. £2 off eBay, not eBay, Amazon. Disc straightener, disc truer, just in case. Wolf tooth, thingamy pliers. They're great, these are just, yeah, very good. And spare, I don't know if you can see that, spare chain magic link in there. And then, obviously, given that I'm back on the moots, the most important item in anybody's kit, I don't know if you can see that, is the spare derailleur hanger. Very, very, very important bit of kit. Never go anywhere without them. Thank you to Sequel. I'm going to leave a link down below to the cycle shop in Brussels that saved my life with these. Right, that's it with the two main bags. Got the feed bags on there. That's pretty much where all the food goes. I've got the top tube bag there. It's looking a little bit on the grubby side. At the moment in there, I've got a buff. That will also be an emergency face mask. I am also going to make sure that I take 4 or 5 surgical face masks. Current rules in Italy mean you have to wear one when you're outside, not if you're taking part in active exercise, but in all of the situations you need to be wearing a mask. The last thing you want to do is run out of masks or lose one just before you need to go into a shop. So I'm going to take plenty of those. Right, spin the front end round. This is the same setup as I had pretty much before on the Great British Escapades. We got the Garmin, we got the Garmin extra battery, we got the Diablo exposure, which will have the extra battery cell, and you know those can keep going for a good 48 hours on the Garmin, and that I probably get 3 nights of riding out of that. So I may not even have to charge the light up. Other than that, pretty much, it's the Route RSL. It's set up for road riding. 32mm Gravel King slick tyres on, slightly smaller version than the tyres I use on TCR. I love these tyres. I think they're great. Are they as fast as the GP5000s? Probably not. Are they easier to get on and off? Probably are. And that, it's all nice and shiny and clean, ready to go. Just giving it a good clean. The chain, you could eat your dinner off. Brand new cassette at the back. And I'm just charging the power meter. So we'll have lots of lovely power data at the end of it. Right. Before we go anywhere, just a quick word from Alex.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
There we go. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you, Alex. High five. Awesome. Thank you and good night.